Marks Park was the venue for the Johannesburg SPAR Women's Challenge, the fifth in a series of 6 invitation races over 10 kilometres designed to give the country's elite women runners the chance in the COVID environment to get back into competition and earn prize money. These races have been getting steadily bigger week by week, and this event had around 180 starters, making it the biggest so far. Apart from the professional clubs, Boxer, Nedbank and Marion Roberts, local running clubs also grabbed the opportunity for their stronger runners to line up alongside the stars of the sport. But there was also a sad note in the air. Margie Welsh had died.
Margie will run with us today.
Margie Welsh, daughter of Dick and Frenny Welsh, the iconic couple who managed the massive Rand Athletic Club, passed away 9 days earlier at the age of 48. Margie had Down syndrome and was a local heroine in the sport.
At cross country, she used to hand out the little stickers, and if you weren't meant to have a sticker, let me tell you, you didn't get a sticker. And the same with the RFC at the Sunday runs. She would have the keys, and if it wasn't your key and not your turn, you didn't get your key, And she was very fastidious about her jobs. In honor of Margie and Dick and Frenny and all they've done and she did for the club, we're wearing a black armband and a little red ribbon and carrying a little picture of Margie on the race.
The group of runners lined up on a warm spring morning on the Marks Park field. The top contenders for SPAR Grand Prix honours were right in front as usual. The route consisted of 2 laps and was not entirely flat, which would make really fast times difficult to achieve. Today was more about finishing positions than fast times, and the tactics would reflect that. The start looked reminiscent of a pre-COVID race as the group made its way around the field. But of course 200 runners was a far cry from the 15,000 that the SPAR Challenge used to attract. The early pacemakers were Glenrose Zaba and Yvette van Zyl, but close behind was SPAR Grand Prix leader Tadu Nare. Runners of the calibre of Kesa Malitsani, Sean Oldno and Fortunate Chidziva were right up there, hoping to get into the lead group when they hit the road and racing really started. Van Zyl, Nare and Zaba were now in Orange Road as the backmarkers made their way out of the start area. The first turn they made was into Buffalo Road. The early pace compared with the coastal courses was not that quick. Van Zyl, Nare and Zaba were making the running, but a large group of chasers were no more than a few seconds behind. Of these 3, only the Ethiopian Nare has run all 5 SPAR Grand Prix races so far. With a single start, the age group runners were able to be in the bunch. Leading junior, Naledi Machata, was right up there with the leaders. They made several turns running through Greenside, going from Buffalo Road into Umgeni. 20-year-old Tadi Nare is planning to run a full marathon in November, extremely ambitious for such a young runner. Glenrose Zaba is currently South Africa's top distance runner, but does she have similar plans?
Me, marathon yet? No, maybe in 2 years' time, I will plan to run marathon to qualify for Olympic 2024. For now, I'm not having a half marathon because I'm not doing that much mileage, because half marathon and marathon thing, it need more mileage.
Chasing hard in the red of Max Delete was Makulubete Makatisi, with Kesa Malitsani and Patience Maroe close by. Fortunate Chidziva and Leba Palula were also in that group. The leading pair passed the 3-kilometre mark in under 11 minutes. Piet van Veeren is marketing and sponsorship manager for SPAR Inland.
As far as we know that we like to give back to the community and support the community. And I think especially after the last couple of years with COVID and all those setbacks we've had, one of the main things is to support the athletes that's been out there and supporting us for over 20 years, is to give back to them as well. And then obviously with the virtual race we had the community involved, so I think this is the cream on top.
The chasing bunch included Makatisi, Maroe, Chidzivo and Palula. They were now in Mariko Road, still on the first lap. SPAR Grand Prix brand ambassador Kesa Malitsani of Marion Roberts Club was also in that group. The highly experienced 2017 SPAR Grand Prix winner talked about how she approaches such a race.
When I approached the Joburg race, it's one of those mentally draining races because it's quite hard. And I came with a better plan for it, and I thought I have to make it work. And being here and actually experiencing it, it came as a norm to me because at least I was expecting something like this, and it was easier for me to maneuver around the race.
The SPAR Grand Prix series has walked hand in hand with a campaign to end gender-based violence in South Africa. SPAR's drive to stop the scourge inspired a grade 12 learner from Netherland Park Secondary School in Ermelo, in Mpumalanga, Zintle Twala, to take up the cause. She has made it her mission to speak out against gender-based violence.
Enough is enough. That's why I wanted to do it. In isiZulu, we say, kwanele, sikhathele. I was tired of keeping quiet because I myself have held a burden for the longest of time, for about 10 years. So I wanted to break the silence by breaking the cycle. I wanted to stop gender-based violence. And what better way to start it than starting at home, which is Netherland Park Secondary School, and then maybe later it's going to move on to our communities, and then provincial and our nation and nationwide. So it went better than what I could have imagined. I couldn't believe that I did this with help from you, from my educators, from Zimele, from my friends and everything. I was really proud that a lot of people from the correctional services, came here to share with the learners, what the consequences of gender-based violence. So I am glad that the learners have gained such knowledge from people from our community. I am glad that I was able to communicate with other people, and what made me feel at peace is that I also healed through the process. We were in Netherland Park Secondary School taking a stand against gender-based violence by breaking the cycle, by breaking the silence.
Zintle invited GBV ambassador Warrior Rick to visit the school, and they held a successful event highlighting this issue. But how has that worked out for Zintle?
I was amazed, I was shocked, and I am actually proud of being, their ambassador. It's such an honor to be part of a team part of a successful team that tries to make the country a better place, and it's mind-blowing, it's breathtaking, it's wonderful, I love it, because I am powerful, I am worthy, I am respected, I am highly favored by others, by God, by my family, my friends, and I want to keep it that way.
Inspiring stuff indeed from Zintle Twala. And now back to other inspirational women, and who else but triple Olympian Yvette van Zyl, now in third place nearing the end of the first lap. And Glenrose Zaba, trying her best to stay with Tadunare, seemed to be dropping off the pace. The SPAR Grand Prix was approaching the halfway mark. After initially having company, Tadunare now found herself alone on the road, a situation not foreign to her, as she had easily won all 4 SPAR Grand Prix races so far. Glenrose Zaba, second on 2 previous occasions this year, now had a challenger on her hands, Yvette van Zyl, clearly more at home on the difficult course. Next came a surprise as little-known Makulubete Makatisi of Max Delete ran alongside Kesa Malitsani, a previous Grand Prix winner. It was quite amazing to see just how relaxed Tadunare was as she approached the finish area at the end of the first lap. So far in the SPAR Grand Prix, her winning margins have ranged from 46 seconds to an amazing 2 minutes and 42 seconds in Cape Town, where she ran her lifetime best of 31:27. Entering the finished precinct for the first time, her halfway time of around about 16.5 minutes predicted a winning time of well under 34 minutes, outstanding at altitude and running a solo race.
And in second place,
While the battle for fourth place up to sixth was hotting up some way back, so too was the struggle for runner-up. Glenrose was still second, but Yvette was slowly chipping away at the Boxer runner's lead. But the little athlete is renowned for her grit, and she would not easily surrender second spot, with its substantial prize money and valuable Grand Prix points. With half the race to go, anything was possible, especially here. The battle for fourth place between Molitsani, Palula and Makatisi. Kessa in particular had a point to prove. As a previous SPAR Grand Prix winner and runner-up in Cape Town this series, there was every chance that she might end up in second spot on the standings with one race to go. This was starting to look like another procession as Tadunare left the stadium and entered Orange Road for the second time. Another win here would boost her points total to 125, an almost insurmountable lead going into the final race. She would basically just have to finish in the top 10 there to secure the win and 190,000 Rand first prize. Glenrose and Yvette were distant figures about 100 metres back as Nare went on her merry way. For Glenrose, the future holds several more important races before the curtain finally falls on a severely COVID-disrupted year.
We're planning to run a good time when it comes to the 10K, since we go into the SA at Durban. Durban is flat and it's very fast course all the time, so I'm expecting to run well, even PE to have maybe PB.
But right now, Zaba had more pressing matters on her mind in the shape of the rapidly approaching Yvette van Sail. Shane Bosman won the first 3 SPAR Grand Prix races in the 40-plus year category, but today she was not running, allowing Jani Groenling to take centre stage, and the Marion Roberts veteran happily arrived at the halfway with a comfortable lead. Jani was second veteran in Maritzburg, Cape Town and Durban and was clearly enjoying being in the lead today. Kessa was getting stronger as the race developed, but, like all the other top runners, was feeling the pressure of running a race basically every weekend.
It has been really, really tough. Having to run every week is one of the most challenging things ever, because you have to plan ahead and you don't really need a lot of disturbances in between. So I think that's one of the challenges that we as athletes faced this year.
Makulubete Makatisi was running the race of her life. Now in 5th place, she had the experienced Lebo Pavlulo for company, but the Boxer runner was looking a little weary at this point. Fortunate Chidzivo, second in the Grand Prix going into this race, was behind Lebo, but she too was taking strain after 5 weeks of solid racing all over the country. The Zimbabwean-born, Cape Town-based athlete told us her story.
I was born in Mashonaland East, which is Murewa in Zimbabwe, and grew up in a community area called Tungwiza. I have 2 kids. I'm a proud mama of a boy and a girl. I don't have any diploma or any degree under me, so I decided to do sport. So I started with boxing. So I was a boxer before I came into running. My first race was in Masvingo province, which was Muzenta half marathon. Then later on, getting friends, getting to know people in running. That's how I came to South Africa. I was commuting in between South Africa and Zimbabwe for some races. Then later on, I think in 2015, that's when I decided to commute in between Cape Town and Zimbabwe. So most of my time, let's say Cape Town is my second home to Zimbabwe. 2020 was a tough year for me. I can say it is a year for my career to hit a dead end due to COVID. So I really thank Kyle, Retail Capital Langa, not forgetting my countrymates, Dev and Rob at BioAgri. They really helped to survive my career.
In 2017, she qualified for the World Athletics Championships, the first time she had represented her country on the international stage.
I ran Cape Town Marathon without expectations, but just having a mind to finish and to have a good race. So when I finished, that's when my fellow Zimbabwean athletes told me we have qualified for World Champs. I was so excited because that was going to be my second national colors on me, and From boxing, I presented Zimbabwe in boxing once, and that was going to be my second national colors. So I was very excited and I was so happy.
Fortunate ran just 3 of the 6 legs in the 2016 SPAR Grand Prix, good enough to secure a top 10 finish overall.
My first race, I believe it was 2016. I ran Cape Town PE, where I placed position 8. But unfortunately, I was also preparing for a marathon, so I couldn't do all the series. I only came back to the series in 2019 when I was being coached by Coach Chris Brewer and being taken care of by Retail Capital Langa. That's how I came back to the series, and I did very well. I also finished top 10 on the leaderboard in 2019. Me and Coach Chris, we approached the Grand Prix series without any expectations. I had a tough COVID, especially for the last part of 2021. So I was fit, but not race fit. So we approached the races with a different view, just take each one at a time. With no doubt, Tadunaro is going to win the overall on the Grand Prix. It's very important for me. Financially, it's a big loss to drop to third position. So I'm really praying and hoping for the best this Sunday to cement the second position. SPAR Grand Prix, to me, it means a lot. They really show us that we can live limitlessly despite of the situations, especially with the COVID situation. We're still up here, we're still running, we're still getting on the roads, we're still squeezing the shoulders on the road with all the female top runners on the road. It was really my wish to wear that green blazer for Olympics. I'm still looking forward to have the green one for the Olympics 2024. And me and my coach, we're really working hard towards the goal.
Judy Bird was another runner likely to continue winning her category in every race in the competition, this time in the over 60 category. Elmarie Pretorius in the yellow of Run Walk for Life has stayed ahead in the over 50 group, but has Shani Silva, a boxer, breathing down her neck in every race. It was the same today as the 2 over 50s ran together at halfway. With under 4 kilometres to go, Yvette finally caught up with Glenrose, who seemed to be struggling with her form. The Nedbank runner right passed her in a strong move into third position. Another runner who left her charge late into the race was Kesa Malatsani. Just after Yvette van Zyl had run past her, Zaba now had to contend with a challenge from Kesa. For the Murray and Roberts runner, this race was crucial in terms of the SPAR Grand Prix. Going into Joburg, she was third on the table, but a strong run here could boost her into second, ahead of Fortunate Chidzivo. For Yvette, though, this series was important in terms of recovering from the disappointments of the Tokyo Olympics.
You just have to, because you can't change what happened in the past, and now I must focus on the future and just trying to be the best currently that fitness level I have, and hopefully next weekend we'll go a bit faster.
But the Nedbank athlete had more than the next race to worry about, as Kesa Malatsani, now on the charge through the field, loomed up ominously behind her. Try as she might, Yvette simply could not stay with the Murray and Roberts runner. There was now less than a kilometre to go for these two runners, about 3 minutes on the road, and Malatsani looked certain of finishing second. Way ahead, though, Tadunaro was cruising to another SPAR Grand Prix victory. Lapping the back markers as she entered the Marks Park grounds, the 20-year-old Ethiopian athlete looked in supreme form as she aimed for a time of close to 33 minutes on the challenging altitude course. And there it was, win number 5. And remember, she was second in the SPAR Grand Prix back in 2019 as a young 18-year-old junior. This must feel a bit like home for her. But how did it all go on this race?
She says by the start she wants to be with them first, then she wants to see the places. She says there is some challenge between them. She says they are good today.
Kesa Molotsani duly held her second place, with her vet van Zyl hanging on as best she could. This was another excellent run from Molotsani, who also claimed the runner-up spot in the Cape Town race. It would now depend on where Chidzivo would finish to determine who would go into the final race in second position on the Grand Prix log. Kesa's time of 34.40 was just 6 seconds faster than her vet's third place time. And what had been Kesa's race plan?
I was planning to at least finish in the podium with the last at least 3 races. So we work towards that each race as it comes, and I'm really surprised that I came second. I was actually aiming a third place, but you know, different race altogether. So I'm really pleased that I achieved what I achieved this morning.
Yeah, it was quite exciting. I think I got a bit carried away because I was in the lead pack at the start, and I'm still finding with my legs after I was a bit injured. So yeah, it was a good race overall. I died a bit the last mile on the hills, but yeah, unfortunately I couldn't hold on to second place, but I'm happy with third, and I think it's a good race today.
Glenrose Zaba ended up in fourth place after a gutsy run. The boxer athlete has had an up and down series after an injury in the first race caused her to miss Cape Town. This was followed by 2 second places before today's fourth spot. Even after missing a race, Glenrose could finish in the top 5 of the SPAR Grand Prix. Her consistency over the years is confirmed by the fact that she was the overall winner of the SPAR Grand Prix in 2018. In the end today, she finished 44 seconds behind a vet in 35.24. For her, it was definitely a race of 2 very different halves.
It was a good race for first 5, but when it comes along second 5, I was not feeling well when it comes to the hills. Were very tough for me. So being long time not doing hills, so special course that have hills, I was not having a power today.
Ever consistent Sian Oldknow finished 7th to consolidate her top 6 position in the Grand Prix. Fortunate Chidziva was 8th and was completely drained, but soon recovered. Nore dominated again in 33 minutes 20 seconds, brilliant under the circumstances. Great results also came from Makulubete Makatisi in 5th and Stella Marais in 6th. Patience Marawi and Lebo Palula also made the top 10, only 7 of whom broke 36 minutes on the tough course. Judy Bird of Marion Roberts took her 5th straight win in the over 60s with ease, while Shani Silver won the over 50 race after a tight battle with Elmarie Pretorius. The junior race saw a brilliant run from Naledi Machata, whose 37.24 was 14th overall in the race. Jani Grundling won the over 40 race in a solid 38.54. Kesa Molotsani overtook Fortunate Chidzivo to move into second spot in the Grand Prix, with Sian Oldknow still 4th. Glenrose has moved up to 5th place. One of the most amazing runs of the day came from 90-year-old Deirdre Larkin, who ran 79.23. She is a world record holder for her age in the half marathon.
I started running when I was about 71. The doctor said I was getting osteoporosis, but they could give me an operation to prevent that. And I said, no, I'll do it by diet and exercise, which I did. Exercise is so important. The older you get, I feel, the more exercise you need.
There were smiles all round as the various prize-giving ceremonies took place. With 5 races gone, there remains just one more event, the climax to the 2021 SPAR Grand Prix, just 6 days later down at the coast in Nelson Mandela Bay. This is where the final point standings in the Grand Prix will be decided after an amazing 7 weeks of hectic travelling and racing. And no doubt the star of the show will be a tiny little runner from the mountains of Ethiopia. We hope we'll see everyone for the grand finale down at the coast.